Communication screen, her smile now carrying a cold edge. "Those aren't weapons, Admiral. Those are our children coming home." The first wave struck Crickstool's outer perimeter ships with devastating precision. Each projectile he realized with growing horror, each craft moved with impossible agility, tearing through shields and armor like they were made of tissue paper. The pilots inside these vessels flew with a recklessness that bordered on suicidal, except they weren't dying. They were winning. "Impossible!" Crickstool roared. "No species developed such technology so quickly. Our intelligence reports showed your most advanced fighters were barely capable of orbital flight." "You're absolutely right," Jim replied. 6 months ago, that was true. But you see, Admiral, you made the mistake of giving us a deadline. You announced your coming invasion, gave us time to prepare. More importantly, you gave us motivation. The human fighters, if they could still be called that, swarmed to his fleet like angry insects. They moved in impossible patterns, pulled maneuvers that should have reduced their pilots to pace, fired weapons that shouldn't exist. "What did you do?" Crickstool whispered, his voice barely audible over the sounds of his dying fleet. "We did what humans do best, Admiral. We adapted. We innovated. We found another way." Chun's expression grew hard. "When we learned of worlds you conquered, species you enslaved, children you'd murdered, we realized that playing by the old rules wasn't going to work, so we wrote new ones." One of Crickstool's dreadnoughts exploded in a brilliant fireball. Its reactor containment breached by weapons that cut through matter at the molecular level. Another simply vanished, folded out of space-time by technology that violated everything he knew about physics. "Retreat," he commanded. "All ships. Emergency jump to." His words were cut off as his own flagship shuddered under assault. Through the bridge viewports, he could see them human fighters that moved like living things, their hulls shifting and adapting in real time, their weapons firing beams of coherent destruction that rewrote the fundamental forces of reality. Admiral Crickstool, conqueror of worlds, felt fear for the first time in his long military career. These weren't the primitive mammals his intelligence had described. These were something new, something terrifying, something that had taken the galaxy's finest military technology and improved upon it in ways that should have been impossible. The bridge door exploded inward. Through the smoke stepped a figure in powered armor that seemed to bend light around itself. The human inside was young, probably barely an adult by their species standards, but the eyes that looked out through the helmet's visor were ancient with purpose. "Admiral Crickstool," the human said, voice artificially modulated by the armor systems. "I'm Commander Torres, Earth Defense Corps. I believe you have something that belongs to my friends." Crickstool reached for his sidearm, but found his hand. Wouldn't obey him. Some kind of neural disruptor field, his tactical mind noted even as panic consumed him. "You're wondering how we did it," Torres continued, stepping closer. "How we went from stone knives to stellar destroyers in 6 months. The answer is simple. We didn't invent this technology. We just learned how to use it." "That's impossible." Crickstool gasped. Torres gestured to the viewport, where the remnants of the once mighty Zephyrian fleet drifted as cooling debris. "The universe is older than your empire realizes, Admiral. There have been others before you, others who tried to conquer everything they touched. They left things behind when they fell. Ruins, technology, warnings." The human's voice carried a weight of absolute certainty that chilled Crickstool's blood. "We found their repositories, their databases, their weapons. Most importantly, we found their mistakes. We learned what happens to species that believe conquest is their destiny." You're not just humans anymore," Crickstool whispered. "No," Torres agreed. "We're something new. Something that remembers every world you've burned, every species you've enslaved. We're the answer to a question your empire should have asked before coming here." "What question?" Commander Torres raised their weapon, not a gun, but something that hummed with contained singularities and twisted space around its barrel. "What happens when you threaten the homeworld of a species?" That refuses to die? The last thing Admiral Crixto saw was the flash of weaponized starlight, carrying with it a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humanity had risen, and they were done being anyone's prey. 3 days later, a small package arrived at the Zephyrian Imperial Palace on Nexus Prime. Inside, carefully preserved in a stasis field, was Admiral Crixto's head. Attached was a simple note written in perfect Zephyrian script. Next time, don't give us a deadline. Signed, the humans. Below. That in smaller text, P.S. Tell your Emperor we'll be visiting soon. The age of human expansion had begun.